5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Homeland, Patria, Homeland. Thank you.
Viva Comandante Fidel Castro Cruz, viva!
Viva!
Viva Comandante Fidel Castro Cruz, viva!
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 We still have a duty to complete our independence. And today's African Liberation Day is very important because one, we have dedicated it to the Cuban people because of the sacrifice that the Cuban people helped us in terms of trying to liberate Africa. We know that more than 30,000 Cuban soldiers were fighting in the African soil, and no country has
the hills of Africa. When the empire tightened his grip, he did not tremble. He rose. When Angola called, he answered, comrades. When apartheid roared, he struck it down with the Cuban steel and the African blood. He did not send banks, he did not send debt. He sent soldiers, medics, teachers, not to dominate, but to liberate. Fidel taught us, true internationalism is not charity, it is duty. He showed the world that a small people, united armed with his truth, can defeat a giant. He showed us that revolution is not only talk, it is action. It is rice for the hungry, it is medicine for the sick, guns for the oppressed, and courage for the wavering. Fidel is not gone, comrade. Fidel lives in every village who says no to imperialism. And she is arming her people. Today, as the US militarizes Africa through AFRICON, it builds bases, trains killers, installs puppets, all in the name of security. But security for whom, comrades? Not for the Congolese farmer, not for the Sudanese mother, not for the Kenyan worker. AFRICON is the armed wing of imperialism, manufacturing death and suffering in the African continent. Kenya will not be a launching pad for American bombs. Africa is not a military outpost of the United States. AFRICON must be dismantled. Africa is not the backyard of United States ruling class, now represented by that bigot Trump. The enemy must be named. The enemy must be opposed. The enemy must be crushed. And we declare with certainty of history, alliance of the Sahel state and Palestine are the two weakest links of the United States imperialism. They are not the breaking point. They are the burial grounds of imperialism. The red earth of Africa and the resistance stones of the Gaza shall bury the United States declining empire. The AS and the Palestine shall be the burial site of the decadent United Empire. Down with United States imperialism, down. Up with Palestine, up.
Cuba is both proud and honored to have had the opportunity to contribute to the struggles against colonialism and racism in Africa. More than 300,000 Cuban internationalist combatants fought against injustice and domination on the continent, of which more than 2,000 lost their lives. On African soil, Cuban and African blood mixed, a bond that united us forever. Thousands of Cuban professionals have passed through Africa, not only in the health sector, but also in education, culture, sports, agriculture, and many others. At present, there are about 6,000 Cubans working in 32 countries of the continent. The great majority of them are health professionals. Dear friends, this ceremony pays tribute to Fidel in his long and tireless struggle. We pay homage to Fidel, the one of the oppressed and poor people of this world, the authentic revolutionary and the intellectual committed to his effort. We pay tribute to Fidel, the one who has a place in history as an example of resistance and dignity, whose struggle and actions fed the yearning for freedom and justice of millions and millions of women and men in the whole world. When recalling his today, we remember the words pronounced by his brother Raúl Castro Cruz, and I quote, Fidel's eternal lesson is that, yes, it is possible. That man is capable of overcoming.
Democratic revolution resounds strongly in the call by Jean-Jacques Dessalines for a sovereign Haiti. The workers of Haiti must be given their due profits, which have been taken from them for so long by the forces of imperial capital. Comprador agents work in a racialized format so as to obfuscate the class struggle, rob the working class of their surplus, and affirm division among the Haitian masses. The Haitian people have had to tolerate all forms of indignity by the United States, France, and core group countries. This Africa Liberation Day, we say that there must be no room for negotiation in repudiating both imperial forces and their dutiful agents.
Sahara Liberté. Can't hear you. Sahara Liberté. Sahara Liberté. Thank you.
Wafanyikazi nyakua ya mashamba, wafanyikazi komboa chakula, wafanyikazi pigania uhuru. Until we crush the big landlords, mapambano bado yaendelea. Until we crush the big landlords, until we crush the comprador class, until we crush the bureaucrat class, until we win, comrades. Let the capitalists tremble. Communism here. Africa is red.
Slogan level, they mean what they say. These people were, I could tell you many stories. They were falling over each other to volunteer to come and fight in Angola. You know, people felt rejected if they were not selected to go to Angola. I'll just tell you one anecdote. The black woman, Serena Torres, the nurse you see in the film, her and her husband at the time of this war, they were married and they just had 3 little children. So they wagered, they said, whoever gets selected first will go to Angola, the other one will take care of the kids. She got selected and the husband was taking care of the 3 kids. And it's just a little story. Serena Torres ends up in Angola. She does a lot of heroic things in some forces back by South Africa and the United States murdered Cuban engineers who were building some. And people not so young also in Africa get to see this. Because this is our story. Story. Comrades! Yeah! Comrades! Yeah!
Thank you for watching.